Okay, so unrelated ramble ahead, but in my last video I was mentioning the premium payout system, but apparently I was living under a rock because Roblox, for some reason, replaced their premium payout system with this creator reward system. Now the premium payouts were pretty simple with how they rewarded devs with Robux depending on how long premium users spent in their games. But look at this creator reward stuff. Creators earn 5 Robux each day if their experience is one of the first 3 an active spender plays for 10 minutes. Then you got these weird examples down here explaining how payment works. However, if you scroll further, you get to this audience expansion reward subsystem explaining that if you contribute to a new user coming to Roblox or an old inactive user coming back, you get more money. There's this like weird chart and now I'm gonna lose my mind. Jesus Christ!
I need a woman with a wolf cut to beat me to death. No, you don't.
Okay, so a while back, a couple of people recommended this game or have mentioned it in passing. This was especially the case when I made my 2 videos talking about AOT Freedom War, and that game is AOT Revolution. Look, I get this might be the most popular AOT game on Roblox at the moment, but oh boy. Attack on Titan Revolution, or just Revolution as I'll refer to it for the remainder of this video, is a game obviously based on Attack on Titan. It's an RPG where you queue up for various missions involving the killing of titans. You gain experience during the course of these missions to level up, and after the missions are complete, you gain money that you can use to further upgrade your character with stats like ODM control and blade damage. The one you start out with is the mission mode, where you do short quests at a predetermined location. You can choose to complete the standard skirmish objective, a random objective, or an objective that depends on the map you're playing on. You can also throw in some modifiers to multiply the rewards you get with the condition of a harder or easier mission. With the game overview out of the way, I'm just gonna get the positives dealt with first. As you can see, this section is pretty short, so what I can say is that the game is pretty, I think. So pretty that my laptop can't handle it for some reason, so I had to turn down the graphics. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. The UI is clean, I guess. It's not completely garbage like 90% of the platform. Yippee! Y'all can't say that I hate literally everything when I at least try to say something positive in every video. Okay, if it wasn't already obvious, I do not like this game in the slightest. First thing, when you boot up the game, is that this game runs like absolute dog water! I don't know how. I can usually run most Roblox games at max settings because they're Roblox games. They can run on a freaking potato. You're looking at the screen wondering, Cameron, this game's FPS is completely fine. But listen! Yeah, that's me pressing my keyboard and my character moving a second later. What kind of optimization is going on here? Making Call of Duty games feel well optimized in comparison. I know I glossed over this part, but like, you obviously have to make a character to play the game. Personally, I like playing a lot of these MMORPGs on Roblox with my own character, but it's fine. Is what I would say if this game didn't introduce gambling right off the bat. Yeah, so for all the new gen Roblox players whose only experience from anime games prior being Battleground slop, anime games for like ever all had character creators where you had to roll to be put in one of the anime's families because the only thing that can elevate the experience of a game is a freaking caste system! All these various families give your character buffs, with the best buffs being from the rarest families or clans. I still cannot express that. Why are caste systems just a normalized game mechanic in anime RPGs? This is especially the case for games based on like Naruto, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer, where the main character got like some super genes on them. But Attack on Titan? I know you got like the Ackerman family with how they're all cracked at ODM, and you also got the royal family with their connection to the founder. But like the Ackermans is like a bloodline, play a minimal role in the story, so that leaves the royal bloodline, and it's like, I really doubt someone's gonna play an Attack on Titan game thinking, I can't wait to play just like my favorite character, Historia! Sorry Historia fans, but like, she got shafted hard after season 3, in more ways than one. I said it in my Jujutsu Infinite video, and I'll say it again, but these character creator gambling systems that give you an advantage before even starting the game have got to go, bro. Okay, moving on to the game proper, you peruse around the hub area and then it clicks immediately. There's no tutorial. If there is a tutorial, then it's pretty well hidden because I ran all across this map talking to every NPC and I couldn't find a single one of them that's like, you want to learn how to play? Like, hello, this is Attack on Titan, not some M1 spamming incremental bandit beater. Luckily for me, the controls are basically the same as Titan Warfare, a much better AOT game, and it's not even close. It's your standard E and Q to shoot your left and right hooks, spacebar to gas boost, and double tap spacebar to shoot yourself in the direction of your camera, called the Mega Boost in this game. Killing Titans is also the same. You slice the nape open and you can damage the eyes and limbs to immobilize the Titans. Still, what if someone never bothered to play Titan Warfare beforehand because the game is dead and the devs moved on to Jujutsu Blocks Fruits over here? What do they do then? Do they just bumble around until they get how to play the game? So let's say you happen to know these controls beforehand. So you queue into a mission. Skirmish is the default objective, so you pick that. You start moving and oh no, the movement's garbage. The cables themselves feel weirdly limp, which I don't even know how that's possible. You have this weird upward momentum when you reel yourself in instead of just going straight towards where you hooked. There have been so many situations where I'm above a Titan and I hook the nape to just fly over its head for some reason. I know, like, if you watch the show, they sometimes look like they have that upward momentum, but like, that's a whole different debacle. In a game, if I press a button, I expect the button to do what it's supposed to do. And in this case, it's to pull me to where my hooks landed. Speaking of which, I can't remember which setting it was called. I think it was hook aim assist or something, but it was on by default. It basically makes it so that your hooks automatically attach to certain surfaces. Now, I'd get this if it was like a console game where analogs aren't super precise for aiming, but like, it's also on by default for PC players. If it wasn't already obvious to most people, console players make up a tiny minority, like 2 or 3% of all users. So it makes no sense to have it on by default for everybody. A lot of the time, the hook location is slightly off where my cursor is, so I often have to use both hooks at the same time to like sorta average out my trajectory so I actually go where I want. Now, this doesn't sound too bad. However, unlike games like Titan Warfare or even Freedom War, there's a much longer cooldown where it comes to shooting each of your hooks. Granted, it's like a second, but for making minute adjustments on the fly, an extra second where you cannot do anything makes the game feel like it's slowing down to a crawl. Now, the obvious solution would be to use each hook one at a time, so when your first hook is on cooldown, the second hook can be used. However, if you're using hook aim assist, you're probably forced to use both hooks at the same time so you actually go where you want to aim. So if you don't know how to turn off hook aim assist, you either have to bear the full cooldown of your hooks or deal with shooting hooks one at a time. But the trajectory is slightly off half the time without it being your fault. The last thing about movement that I want to mention is the Mega Boost. Oh, the Mega Boost. Probably the worst version of this mechanic I've seen in an AOT game, probably of all time. The Mega Boost, like I said, is a quick gas burst that gives you speed in the direction you're looking. However, it's not a one and done burst. It's actually a continuous release of energy for almost a full second, meaning that if you change the direction of your camera, you continue to move in that direction like you're flying as Superman or something. The whole point of this mechanic in AOT games is to give you a quick change in momentum, whether you need to get into the air from the ground or you need to change direction in the air quickly while ignoring inertia. Why on earth would you design your boost this way? This isn't an accident. You have to intentionally make the boost work like this. And to go back to an earlier issue, the upward momentum, if I go to blind a Titan, I strike the front of their head. My first instinct would be to boost behind them to line up a shot to the nape. However, due to this weird upward momentum, I have to be kinda below the Titan to get a clean hit, so I want to boost as far away as I can to still have enough time to build enough speed so my swords can actually do damage. Any person's first instinct when lining up a shot while moving would be to, you know, move your mouse to look at your target. This inevitably causes you to be diving headfirst into the Titan's butt crack. The only way to avoid this would be to launch yourself and then wait a bit before finally being able to get your kill shot. Also, I don't really have a spot in this segment to really put this, but sometimes the same thing happens when you jump or slide on the ground where you start flying off in the direction you're looking, similar to the Mega Boost. Sometimes, instead of a regular jump, you do the super jump, and I have no idea what triggers it, and it feels wonkier than a normal jump. This crappy movement makes killing Titans feel like an absolute chore, at least in the beginning. I don't know what the late game is like because I genuinely couldn't bear to play any more of this after a few hours. That provides a segment to the next point I want to make, being that this game is pretty monotonous. Literally all of the game modes are just kill X amount of Titans. Even the game modes where it sounds like it's a shake-up from the normal skirmish mode are just another form of kill X Titans. If it says to defend, you're thinking it might be a game mode where hordes of Titans come and attack an objective and you have to take on an endless amount of waves without dying or fight until time runs out. Nope, it's just all the same boring Titans that you fight to complete the mission, just like skirmish. The only difference here is that there's an extra lose condition where you have to defend the objective, but the win condition remains the exact same, and so does the gameplay loop. Kill the Titans, complete the mission. Kill the Titans, complete the mission. Kill the Titans, complete the mission. Oh my god! Even Freedom War had different objectives that shook up the gameplay. How do you go up against Freedom War and lose?
But human, you can shake things up by changing the difficulty.
Okay, let's talk about the difficulty in this game because you obviously have your base difficulty. However, in order to increase the difficulty, you have to raise your grade. Now, in all my time of playing this game, I haven't found out how to raise my grade. Do I have to upgrade my gear enough times? No, because the gear itself gets locked behind grade requirements. Do I have to reach a certain level? It doesn't say which level I need to be, and I sure hope that the game doesn't expect me to get all the way to level 100 to Prestige just so I can graduate from E- to E proper. So we can rule out being able to change the base difficulty. What about modifiers because I can toggle any of them on? Well, all they do is make it so the Titans hit harder and stuff. It doesn't make the actual AI more difficult. However, one time I added this modifier that made it so that the Titans injure your characters easier, and I assume that the injuries are just like debuffs your character gets in combat. I was kind of right in the fact that they hinder my character, but when I finished the mission, I saw that my character was still injured. I legitimately thought that the game was bugged and forgot to get rid of my injuries when I spawned, but nope, injuries are actually permanent, and you have to actually pay to fix them. I'm sorry, I didn't know that AOT took place in America. Why did the devs think that making injuries on a video game character permanent was a fun mechanic? Oh, but human, it makes the game more realistic like AOT. Leave! When you spawn in the hub world, you obviously have NPCs to talk to. From here, you can buy stuff, upgrade your character, and plenty of other things. However, if you press tab, you can open up a main menu where you can access everything that the NPCs in the hub let you access. Granted, it's a good thing that there's options in a hub like this, but that begs the question, why even have a hub world? Look, there are 3 NPCs that do the exact same thing, which is taking you to the cash shop. Why do I need 3? Count them, 3 separate NPCs that take me to the cash shop. These are obviously trying to have that diegetic feel where your character is interacting with the menus just as much as the player, but it kind of feels pointless here. Look at a game like Deadlock where the main menu is this hideout area. First and foremost, you spawn right in front of the NPC, which queues you up for a game. Second of all, there's, you know, stuff to do in the game world. You can practice with your character and head to the sandbox, and that gives a reason for this hideout to exist and not just be a plain menu. Revolution has none of this sauce. Why would you feel the need to add a hub world? Is it so that you can see everyone's skins? Oh wait, obviously every Roblox game has to have some form of monetization.
Battle Pass? Fortnite Battle Pass?
Hello, Peter. Welcome to Fortnite.
You can buy currency and a bunch of other junk in the shop that's blatant pay to win, but are we even surprised at this point? We also have loot boxes! Incredible! Now I can spend all my money on skins! I love gambling! I love gambling! Wait a second. Why is there Gooner bait in my Attack on Titan game? I rolled a whopping 1 time and got this Scathatch skin. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. I don't know anything about Fate except for like Astolfo. But Cumin, how is this Gooner bait? Sure, it may not have giant jiggling breasts, but it's a skin based off a Gooner bait character. It has this shrink-wrapped skin suit where the navel is visible for some reason, and exclusively happens on Gooner art. So it's a Gooner bait skin. This is Bunny Suit Makima all over again. So, Yeah, Revolution basically boils down to yet another case of Titan Warfare but worse, because the game modes suck, the monetization sucks, and worst of all, the movement sucks. Like, the whole point of an AOT game is to have that Levi power fantasy, and you can't even get that right. Even YBA managed to keep me somewhat awake during the quests. Thanks, Paragon. For the love of God! Is there even a single good anime game left on the platform? Tell me I'm not going crazy. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't. Doesn't matter because no one's gonna get to this part. I give Revolution a Mikasa's sweaty scarf that Aaron definitely sniffs during the off chance she isn't wearing it, because let's be honest, Mikasa doesn't wash that scarf because she's obsessed with Aaron, and Aaron's obsessed with her obsession even more than she's obsessed with him. Out of 10. What the heck is this? I see like there's a waves mode. Like, I have a feeling that this waves mode has been on the ranking list for like over a year. When this game came out like last year. So like, why do they not like have anything for the waves? They obviously have a leaderboard up and ready, but like, there's no waves game mode, so no one can play the waves. Friggin' what are you even doing for a year? Friggin' sitting on your thumbs, making these stupid maps that have the same. This one doesn't even have a secondary objective. It's just skirmish. They're not even trying anymore.